Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, GHA family and friends. We are back with another homework helper, and this is for 6th grade. It's going to be lesson 24, problem set, okay? So there's only 2 questions, so I can't do them all. I'm going to do number 1 for you, or I'm going to help you get started with number 1. Okay, so it says Marissa just bought 100 acres of land, 100 acres. She wants to grow apple, peach, and cherry trees on her land. So you're going to color the model to show the acres, how the acres could be distributed for each type of tree. Using your model, complete the table, okay? So we have our 10 by 10 grid right here. You should have one on your paper. The interesting thing about this question is that you're going to make up the percentages for each type of tree that Marissa is trying to grow in her garden, okay? So everything is going to be out of 100. If you look at your table, you're going to label it, label the trees. So you have an apple tree, a peach tree, and a cherry tree. The percentage is up to you. It all needs to add up. We've done this before in our previous lesson. Then you get to create a fraction. So that fraction must be out of the total. So whatever it is, it needs to be out of 100 or over 100, okay? So, for example, if I wanted to have an apple tree take up 50% of my garden, this is what I would color in on my grid. So I got my 10 by 10 grid here, and I want 50%. So my 10 by 10 is clearly out of 100. So if I want 50% of my yard to be apple trees, then I need to color in half of this, okay? So I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and draw a line right here, and I can color these in. Because this means that 50% of my garden or my yard is going to be apple trees. Now, I'm giving you this example, so your numbers cannot look like mine. You get to have the creativity to come up with your own numbers, whatever you would like them to be. It just needs to add up to what? 100. 100% is the whole. All right, so my apple trees, I wanted my apple trees to take up 50% of my yard. So now I'm going to figure out about my peach trees. I think I want them to have 10% of my yard. So I'll find a different color and I'll show 10%. So to show 10% out of 100, how many of these do I need to fill in? Well, if it's out of 100, then I only need to fill in 10 of these. So, lastly, I have cherry trees. We should already know what my cherry trees percentage would be due to the fact that this is all that I have left for cherries. I've had 50% for my apple trees, and I had 10% for my peach trees. So all I have left out of 100 is what? 40. I only have 40. So 60% of my garden or my yard is already taken. So I'll color those in just so that you can see it. Alright, so now I can go and look at my table. When I look at my table, they ask you to list the tree, the percentage, the fraction, and the decimal. So you're taking the percentage and you're turning it into a fraction, and then you're going to turn it into a decimal, which should be very easy. If everything is out of 100, then each of your percentages of your garden must fall in the hundredths place, okay? Because it's all out of 100. So If we're looking at apple trees, for mine, I had 50%, okay? So I'll go ahead and write my 50%. So I would write my 50% in the percent box, okay? Then in the fraction box, I'm gonna write my fraction. So everything is out of what, class? It's out of 100. And if I know my percent, I can go ahead and put my number up top. 50 out of 100. Because we know that half of my garden is taken up by apple trees. 50 out of 100, okay? Then we're going to put this in decimal form. So if I have 50 out of 100, I could divide that to get it, or I could simply say that this needs to fall in the hundreds place after the decimal. So that 0 must fall 2 digits away from the decimal. We have our tens place and our hundreds place and our thousands place. But since everything is out of 100%, the 50, the 0 of the